Hi everybody, it's ALB in Whisperland here. So happy to be back with you. In today's video, I'm going to do something that I've never really done before, which is I'm going to show you a finished project of mine, and I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to show you what I used to make it and my thoughts and basically everything that went into it. And I'm also going to read it to you because it's a comic. I actually never even thought to do this, so the credit for this idea goes entirely to my viewers, because this is something that I made and obviously posted about, and then some of you were like, hey, that would make a good ASMR video, and you're totally right. Sometimes the best ideas come from you guys, for sure, and I'm happy to create the actual thing for you. So this video will be probably more personal than most of the other ones I've made, just because it's a personal topic. It's special to me. I made it myself with my own two hands. And a lot of my feelings and heart went into it. So this is Flight, and it's the first comic I've ever made, and it was a very big project for me. It's not that long. It's, I think, 10 pages or something like that. But it was a lot of work. I think it took me, I know I worked on it for 7 days for about 12 hours a day. So you figure that out. It was a lot of work, but I learned so much while I was doing it, and I learned that I love making comics, and I learned that I love visual storytelling, and I learned also that it is way harder than it looks to do this. I usually do, one piece at a time, and to do visual storytelling, you really have to have a consistency and a flow with everything. It's different. So, Flight is about a lot of things. Mostly for me, why I made it and what it's about is kind of a feeling in your heart when you really give in to grief, which is maybe heavy, but to me it's not so much. I think a lot of times when we feel sad, we don't really allow ourselves to really give in to grief. So what Flight is about is those little moments in life where maybe you're at work or you're at the grocery store or anywhere, just any regular part of your day, and you hear something on the radio or you see something that reminds you of a person who isn't in your life. Maybe they've passed away. Maybe you just can't see them anymore, the friendship ended. Maybe you are still very close but so far away from that person. And that little thing that reminded you, it catches you totally off guard and you weren't expecting it. And because we have to go about our day, we have to push that feeling aside. We can't allow ourselves to give in to grief in those moments because it would just be too much. So that's kind of what inspired this comic, is those little moments that are scary and really heavy, and they catch you, and all of a sudden you just lose it. You just lose control of your emotions because you weren't expecting to be caught off guard in that way. And so often in life we have control over when we feel things in such a heavy way. But anyway, that's the long version of what this is about. The short version is that it's a comic about being far away from people you love. So, I'll read it to you. Flight. I have a new home and a new desk. I get to sit in front of my window and work every day. I'm coming to realize that my spot must be in front of a flight path, because every 10 to 15 minutes, a plane crosses the sky. It's like a slap in the face every time. I'm not on that plane. You're not on that plane. I'm not going to see you, and you aren't coming to see me. When will we be together again? When will a plane be just a plane to me? And then on the back, it's just all of my information. So, yeah. It's obviously very personal, but it's not really about any one specific relationship in my life. Basically, most of the people I love live really far away from me. My family, my best friend, live in a different province, and like just everyone lives really far. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that, that feeling. So anyway, I do have these little mini comics in my Etsy if you're someone who really likes to have, the item. They're hard cardstock. Yeah, they make nice gifts for people if you live far away. But as well, if you are someone who maybe just likes the comic and wants to share it, I have the whole thing online for free to read. So all the links to everything are in the description for the video, so you can read it online for free and everything's there for you. So now let's talk about the process of how I made it, which is maybe more fun, less sad. I have to tell you, it's so funny because, well, I do tables at conventions, and a lot of times when people pick up that comic and read it, they read the whole thing, and then they have this expression on their face, which is, it's a sad expression, but to me the book isn't really that sad at all. It's maybe because making it was such a happy thing for me that it's hard for me to feel sad about it. I don't know. Anyway, so this comic was done entirely on watercolor paper, and I have all of the pages here. As you can see, they are much bigger than the book itself. But I prefer it that way, to work big and then shrink it down. So what I did was I did a border of the exact sizing that everything needed to be, and from there on I could basically space out how big I wanted everything to be. Before I did all of these, I wrote a script and a storyboard, and the storyboard was kind of like my map. I knew loosely where everything needed to be, and I could just go from there. So, I am really proud of these pieces, which makes me happy to share them in their original form, because in the book, obviously, they're very shrunk down. I really went out of my comfort zone for these paintings. These are all watercolor with ink on top. And I don't usually like to do scenery or furniture. So it was really out of my comfort zone to do these buildings and stuff. It's just not fun for me to paint, so I usually don't do them. I really love this watercolor paper. It's 300 pounds. It's really heavy. And it doesn't warp at all from water. So you can see all in here, this is all washes of color. And the paper just stays perfectly straight, even though there's so much water on it. So yeah, I would say this is the page I'm probably most proud of, because I don't do landscapes. This was the first landscape I've ever done. And obviously this is the city of Toronto. And the water was very fun to paint here. We have the CN Tower, lots of other, if you live or know or have been to Toronto, it's very recognized, the waterfront. This is all a wash up here too. And then I used white acrylic paint to do these little dots for the stars and the highlights here on the plane. And then I used it to get the white in the water too here on some spots. With watercolor, you really don't need white because, you know, it's basically anything you aren't painting is considered white space. But I really wanted to get that harsh white, because when you're working with black and white, which is what I did this whole comic in, the lighting becomes the most important part of the picture, because your focus is now on contrast versus color. So lighting creates the mood instead of color, and I needed to really have a harsh white for this. And this one at the bottom here is very fun to paint too. And I'm sure some of you already know where this is. It's New York City. There's a little bridge in the back here. And this is all washes here at the top. This was, it was interesting to paint because using different layers and layers and layers, you kind of create this illusion of dimension. And I did all these tiny little details with a really fine tipped pen, which I'll show you at the end, to get all these tiny little lines. And I didn't fill in all the details in the buildings back here so that it would look like the fog is reaching forward, kind of on an early morning. And I painted the plane in this one. You'll notice that like there's no plane, but there is in a comic. I painted it separately and added it in digitally because I was really worried about ruining this. And maybe that sounds funny, but I just don't do landscapes. So when I felt happy with this, I didn't want to mess it up. So I painted the plane separately and added it in later, just so that I could be sure it was in the right spot in the sky, and it made me feel more secure. So that's what I did. But obviously, there is a plane here. felt a little more confident with that one versus this one. But I learned so much by doing this. This one's pretty simple. I really liked doing all the skin tones. Skin tones are like my bread and butter. I love painting skin tones. They're so much fun. I love the way that light falls over muscle. It's so much fun to me. And then I have this cross-hatching in the background, which is kind of a theme throughout the whole comic, and in all of the bedroom scenes. So this is supposed to be me. And I do feel like it looks like me a lot, but I will have to say it's kind of hard to draw yourself maybe as unbiasedly as you'd like to. I know that I always give myself a bigger nose than I actually have because I feel like I have a big nose, which I do have a big nose, but I've been told I do my nose too big. Oh well. This isn't the last one, so I shouldn't have shown it in that order. Just forgive that. And then this one is probably the most like storytelling in the whole book because there's actual visual progression here instead of just images. So you can see the cross-hatching. It's kind of supposed to be a theme. Yeah, it was fun to do all the hands and muscles and the arms. I really love doing hands. It's like my favorite thing. And then the last one, which you already saw, but this one I did so many layers of ink to get it like black. Like I wanted the blacks to be blacks. And even after when I scanned them in, I felt like the blacks weren't black enough, so I did make them deeper digitally because I wanted it to be like just super intense because it's an emotional page, you know? It's got a lot, so I wanted it to be heavy. And a little detail that you really can't see as well in the book because it's tinier is that on the picture is this little envelope and my name. And that's right here. So it's kind of like it's in the picture. I don't know, just a little thing I added. So, sorry about that. So with all of these, I scanned them in and then cleaned up all of the edges here just to make them a little bit neater. And then edited them a little bit, like for example, the plane I had to add in that one picture, and I made them the lines a bit heavier in certain spots, like just like I duplicated them and multiplied the lines so they were just bolder, you know, and obviously shrunk them. And for all the lettering in the book, I also did that by hand. I wanted to kind of include like the handwritten aspect of a letter. So for every single line of the comic, I wrote it out by hand and then scanned it in and inserted it. So it's all in my own handwriting. And I think that I'll probably do that for my next comic too, because I think that like fonts, at least the standard ones that come, you know, with Photoshop, they can be a little limiting. See, this is an example that I was writing it out a couple times to see which I liked best. And then this is the title page, which I did with a brush. and ink. And I don't know if you can kind of tell, but you can see the blue from my pencil because I wrote it in pencil first. And then there's me trying my pen out. So I'll show you some of the products that I used. So this is my little Prismacolor Verithin. It is very, very tiny because I use it all the time. And I used to have like 10 of these, but I'm on my last one, so I'm gonna have to go buy some more. They cost like 80 cents each, so they're not very expensive. But I use them to like here until I can't anymore. This is my pencil sharpener. And you might think, hey, everybody's got a pencil sharpener. Why are you showing that? Well, let me tell you. This is the best pencil sharpener I have ever used. And if you're an artist or you work with pencils, you'll know that so many pencil sharpeners break your lead. Listen, I am so passionate about this pencil sharpener. I have recommended it to so many people. It's the best. It never breaks your lead. Okay, this is like a pencil sharpener show and tell, but this is a big deal, okay? So like, you open it like this, pressing the button, like that. I'm not going to open it because there's pencil shavings in it, but it's easy to open, and you can have it in your bag loose and it won't ever spill the pencil shavings. And none of the pencil shavings ever come out because of the lid on the top, which pops open like that and then clicks here so it won't flip up. And there's like a graphite and graphite in color. It's like the perfect sharpening. Every time. I'm really passionate about this pencil sharpener. You can get them at basically most places like Staples or art supply stores, but for fun I looked it up on Amazon and they cost like $2. It's so worth it. It's the best pencil sharpener ever. And yes, I geek out over pencil sharpeners apparently. This is the super fine line pen that I was talking about that I used on the little lines in the building. It is a Pilot pen. I don't know anything about this. I really like how fine tipped this is. It's like, it's very good for details, and I also wrote all of the lettering in it. This one I know you guys have seen me use before. And again, this maybe is annoying to you, but I don't know the name of it because there's no English on the packaging. So, yeah, but what I can tell you is that it's a brush. It's a brush pen that is refillable. I don't know if you can hear the ink sloshing around, but it's a brush pen that is refillable, and they're synthetic bristles, so they're really good for, I used it for a lot in this comic. And one more thing is this Speedball Super Black India ink. Now my container is not beautiful because I've like spilled ink all around the edges here. But I really like this ink because number one, it's really cheap. It's a plus. Number two, it's really opaque. It does the job, you know? So it's good in my box. I will show you now some of the brushes that I use. This is just a small portion of my brush collection. This is just my kind of current go-tos. A lot of them you might see have pink duct tape on them, and there's no aesthetic reason for that other than that the paint has started chipping. Like, this is a beautiful brush because it's still in perfect condition, but some of my brushes look a little more like this because contact with water has made the seal break off. That's the point at which they get duct tape, because obviously they're a favorite and I want to keep using them, so they get duct tape because I don't want to get rid of them until they don't work. Anyway, so let me look here. Some of my favorites that I used for this comic. This one for sure. This is, I know I got it at Curry's. The brand is Q Series SR, or 5R, excuse me. And it's a #1. And it's nice. I like using tiny brushes versus big ones, even if I'm filling up a tiny space or a big space. And I know I use this one a lot. This is a Curry's brand, #8. It's a bit bigger. You can see. A lot of my brushes are no longer white and beautiful anymore. They're all stained with color. That's just what happens. And then here it is. I have a couple really tiny brushes. Let's see. Where's the other one? Ah, here. That old brush was giving me the runaround. So I mostly use tiny brushes. As you know, I'm a very detail-oriented person. And these two little brushes are, well, I think that's a Curry's brush. I'm guessing because the name is worn off. And this is Scepter Gold 20000. Very, very small. Very tiny. I love tiny little brushes. It's hard for me to go into an art supply store and not, like, touch all of the brushes. Figure out the softest one. I love brushes, especially soft ones. I have a couple big soft ones in here too. This one's really soft. Feels really nice on the skin. And similar one. These are almost the same, they're just different sizes. Most of my brushes are synthetic because I mostly work with watercolors, and this is probably like a no-no, but even when I'm working with acrylics, I use watercolor brushes because I know how to use them, and I don't really like acrylic brushes. They're too rough, I don't know. I like soft brushes. Soft brushes with soft bristles. At one point, I had these all arranged by size, and it was really pleasing to look at. But it wasn't very helpful in terms of like actually getting the brushes. So now I have them kind of organized by how much I use them. So you can see here, I have a whole bunch of acrylic brushes together because I don't like them. So anyway, you guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope that this was fun for you. It was fun for me to talk about. And I hope you have a wonderful night, and I love you so much. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.